Next up, my bald brothers, Brian Shields, National Sales Director, Amerifund Home Loans, Emmett Dempsey, broker owner, Treasure Coast Mortgage. Come on up, guys. We'll be talking about unique ways to maximize your VA benefit. How's it going, guys?
Great, how are you?
Fantastic.
Good.
All right, our topic, creative ways or unique ways to maximize VA benefits. Really what that means is finding the nuances and the things a lot of times where a lot of originators don't know about, and like leaning into those and then helping provide a better experience to the customer, wowing your realtor partners and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yes.
All right, I think what we're gonna start with is Brian. You do the seller credits on purchases. Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want to preface it that, like, for me, getting to serve the veteran the way that we do is such an honor. And I think as a loan officer that does do VA loans, you need to look at it like that, because what other way can we give back to these people that put the sacrifice out there for all of us? So I like to look at the way that I serve as a VA client as like a bonus to my conventionals, my FHA, all the stuff, like that's a bonus. And so for me, it's like, how can I maximize the benefit to my veteran buyer? So I spend a lot of time breaking it down and coaching the real estate agent on how can we bring the most value? You know, if let's look at comps. Let's see if maybe we can go up a little bit above the asking price. Let's see if we can get some seller credits, either buy down the rate, do a temporary buy down, or even better, use, you know, I'm not sure if everyone knows, but you can use the seller credits to pay off existing debt for the veteran. So maybe they have a $4,000 auto loan that still has, that's like $700 a month, you know, that doesn't meet that 10-month gap. Pay that off, get rid of it. Right? And now your bottom line on what's coming in from Uncle Sam and what's going out is less, and you're in a better position. So I really try and leverage those things, you know, because you get the 4% plus customary, you know, your normal fees and stuff, your credit reports, your appraisals. So we're stuck in that mindset of only 4%. You can still do lender credits. You can do, you know, all those other things that you can do to bring in more and more and more value. And I love being able to leverage that. And when you get to present that, I show it not only to my veteran borrower, but I show it to the real estate agents too, because that's value for them for their future clients, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's huge. And with that, I'm building relationships through give.
Yeah, and sometimes that can be used to get the borrower to qualify, but other times it's just you're doing a really good job at putting them in the best financial situation possible, right?
Yeah.
Let's say the appraisal comes in at 10 grand higher, right?
Yeah.
And boom, you can restructure it, pay off some debt, and it's just another thing for the veteran.
But you got to take the time to explain it to them, because if you just say, hey, we're going to raise the price 10 grand and get some seller credits, no, you got to put it on paper. You've got to show them the numbers. You've got to invest the time. Guys, okay, maybe not right now in the moment. We make a lot of money for what we do. Yeah. Invest the time to educate your clients. Take the time to explain things. You don't, DTI, LT, they don't know what that means. Take the time to explain it to them. They don't have to be the expert, but they should know something. Bring the value that all of our clients, but our veteran clients, they deserve to know these things. So show the value, put it on numbers, or put the numbers on paper, and with that, you're now a friend. You're now an ally. You're now a brother in the battle. And I think that's for me, that's what's worked the best.
And through that process, I believe like you build a relationship with your clients, which I think is very valuable, right? When you're teaching somebody and then they eventually trust you, that relationship's built. It's a beautiful thing.
Every bit of my business has been relationship or referral driven. I've never bought a lead. And I'm not saying leads are bad, but I'm not going to go to your door and I'm going to sell you a Kirby vacuum. That's just not me. I love the warm leads. I love the introductions. I love when somebody says, I was in Costco and my wife and I were talking about going to open house, and the lady behind me tapped me on the shoulder and she goes, you got to call Brian Shields right now. Like, you don't talk to anyone else. And like I said, they tried to sell me Amway as well, but we did do a loan for them, and that was a good part of it. Awesome. But it's just, I want to be their friend, their ally, the people that they rely on. If they're moving to, Gilbert, Arizona, where we live, and they're like, hey, Brian, we're looking at houses this weekend. We want some sushi. I'm going to be the guy that knows what they need. Where's the sushi joint? Yeah. Where's the place to go take your kids? Like, I want to be their asset for everything I can bring value to.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and over time, as you are known for the guy. It's not even tricks in the bag. These are just underwriting guidelines that we know how to interpret. You're known as the guy that can get it done, right? When you start doing that. Cool. Emmett,
Yes,
now,
sir.
you use the advantage of no overlays.
No overlays. Yeah, I mean, it's just about being a professional in the broker channel, about how because I'm a former Army officer, and if you're ever on a military base, who do you see? You see Navy Federal, USAA is there, and that's who the veteran thinks they have to get their loan from. And these guys don't know it all. There's so many times when they give them this loan product that they couldn't qualify or they get denied. You know, being a broker, we have multiple channels, we have great lender partners. You're down to 500 FICO. I know I've had manual underwrites that are under 580 FICO, whereas your veteran-friendly VA lenders that they're supposed to go to denies them, and they don't think they can qualify. We can help that family buy a home.
So that causes a bigger issue too, doesn't it? I mean, when they're going to these other lenders, getting turned down, and then they don't always call you,
They don't.
right? So that's a huge issue. Do you do anything to put yourself out there or educate people ahead of time? So
Absolutely. I have a YouTube channel. Go and search it. It definitely needs subscribers. Thank you very much. But no, because who in this room has a cell phone? Everybody, right? So how are you showing up to people who are searching for those topics? You know, one of we're talking about guidelines, but I put out content about VA loans. You know, I kind of position it where it's the things that people are searching for. You know, if you want to talk about secondary entitlement, we've gotten there yet, but
we'll get there in a second. Brian, back to you real quick. You use property tax waivers for disabled vets. How do you do that?
Yeah, so again, it's going above and beyond and bringing the extra level of value. Anybody that can fog a mirror can probably figure out how to do a loan, but it's doing the little extras above and beyond. So when I'm licensed in Washington, Oregon, and Arizona personally, and what I like to do is I go into the county that they're buying a house in, and I look in the county website to see if there's any property tax exemption applications for veterans with a disability, and because those states haven't implemented on a state level yet, but some counties have it, and so I will go in and I'll look for that, I'll download it, and then the client and I will go through how to fill it out together, and I want to just step them through it. It's that extra level, especially in some states that have really high property taxes, right? If you're buying a $400,000 house and your taxes are $7,000 a year, if you can help them get that down to $1,200 a year, it benefited me none, zero. But it brought so much value to them, right? And I just think when you do those little extra things, I was talking to Chris earlier, and I was like, do I present this? Do I not? I've been getting some veterans with new construction and have disabilities, but these states might not have kicked in the state level disability yet to remove taxes or to reduce them. So I say on these new construction deals, several of our lender partners will allow us to do that hold harmless or the what do they call it, the payment shock letter on taxes. So I talked to the underwriter and say, hey, are we okay to do this? And I just had one that saved them $630 a month off of what they were going to calculate the millage rate to what the actual unimproved land taxes were. And it's Oregon. Oregon only does taxes once a year. So it's not even going to reset until November of 2024. He had just got approved for his disability the day before funding. And we were able to get the payment shock letter in there, keep the taxes, keep his payment $620 some less per month. And now he can go in and do that paperwork that we had already worked on, had it ready to go, knowing it was coming. So I didn't make any more money for that, but the intrinsic reward and the value of knowing that I went above and beyond. So to go back a little bit, why is it so important to me? I didn't serve, but I used to coach wrestling and jiu-jitsu and MMA. And one of the kids that was closest to my heart had the same last name, so everyone thought we were related. His name was Andrew Shields. May 31st, 2008, Andrew didn't come back from Afghanistan. Roadside bomb took him. His dad and I were both in law enforcement together. One of my favorite young men on the planet. So when I do these things, it's in honor of Andrew, his sacrifice at 19 years old, just getting started with life, and he never got to come back and do all of these things. So when I do this stuff, I love to say it's not about the money. I need, mama needs new shoes, gets her hair done, the nails. I got to have some money coming in. Yeah. But the reward of serving and giving back it's off the charts.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I agree. But another thing that's happening when you guys are doing things at a high level is you are making it easier for the next veteran to get their offer accepted potentially, right? Because that real estate agent, because we happen to us a lot, they'll be like, wow, that was easier than I ever had it before. Yeah, because we know what the hell we're doing. We know what, and even when we come up against hurdles, we know how to overcome them. That's where a lot of people get lost in the weeds and like, oh, let's just switch it, because it's what they know. So doing things at a high level, yes, it's great for the veteran, but it's great for the veteran community in general, because you're teaching people that it is not what they make it out to be.
100%. And taking the time to educate both real estate agents and keeping in contact with them throughout the process. Hey guys, the appraisal just came in, no problems, everything looks great. Just again, taking the extra time to build the rapport and the value. And honestly, most of my agents I work with today that refer me business were listing agents on other deals because of the way that I communicated, I treated them, I followed up with them, I assured them, my yes means yes, my no means no, we're gonna close on time, as expected, done.
When you know your stuff and you do what you say you're gonna do on a VA loan, it's not hard to get all their VA business in the future, because there's very few people that can really master their craft. That's awesome. Emmett, back to you. Your other one is you have another great nugget that helps you set you apart. It's the second tier entitlement.
Second tier entitlement, yeah, because I know when I got out of the military, I bought my first house with a VA loan. I thought it was one and done, and if I have it on one, I can't use it in another one. One of my most popular videos is 2 VA loans at the same time, and now you can have multiple ones, and so you can also buy a 4-plex, live in one, rent out the other 3, like a house hacking strategy. But for mostly, I can just tell you a story of a client we have in process. They own a property, they wanted to buy a new property, they didn't want to go contingent, because we still have an inventory problem, and going contingent, lowers your offer. They really wanted this house. So most originators who didn't know about secondary entitlement said, just go conventional. And so worse pricing, more money down, and that's what they would have done. But now they can do 2 VA loans, and they have the right DTI, you have higher DTI limits, and they're able to make a non-contingent offer and get accepted with another VA loan. So it's just knowing that knowledge and being the master of your craft, which I believe we in the broker channel are for VA loans, and that's that sets you apart, makes you real estate agents that fall in love with you, and all the things.
Yeah, absolutely. When you say mastering your craft, it's not only you have to be a master of your craft in order to push back against an underwriter. It drives me nuts when somebody's like, "Oh, the underwriter doesn't make the final answer," right? It is our job. We drive the bus.
Yes.
We do all that. Cool. Any other little nuggets that you guys use, or an example of using these, how it's helped in relationships or other things?
Lamont was up here earlier talking about just different ways to serve, and I had a really fantastic story. I had a veteran that was introduced to me through friends and earned his trust, and he had said that he never applied for his benefits because he was dyslexic, couldn't read, and he was embarrassed to talk about that. And so I was like, well, I'll go with you. Let's go do this. And so we went with him, and we went through the paperwork. I'm like, do you understand this? And we took the time, and we read through it, and he applied for his benefits, and in March, we got him a loan he was 100% disabled. We got him a home loan. Never thought he would get it, and just...
That one thing held him back from home ownership.
His embarrassment of not being able to read.
Yeah.
And not being able to tell somebody else that. And again, it took time and earned trust. It didn't happen overnight, but it's just be good to people. Be good to people, treat people right. Everyone deserves respect until they do something not to do it.
Yep.
And you've seen that happen, right?
Yep.
So no, you just and it was a huge win and a huge opportunity. It's one of those ones that is it the biggest loan I ever did? Absolutely not. But is it one of the most rewarding? Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yep.
What about you? Any success stories or?
Several success stories. Like I said, having the ability to go manual underwrite. When you talk to realtors about these things, they're like, "Oh, okay." So they immediately think of a client they can refer you right away that they were turned down. It's about mastering your guidelines and really fighting for VA loans, because we're going to have a market that's going to shift back to seller's market again, and you're going to have to prepare to fight those battles about VA loans, because right now they'll take any offer, but eventually be like, "Oh, I don't want to take a VA loan." And so it's just knowing those, be able to fight that fight when it comes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is Mike Alberco in here? I can't tell. Well, I stole the little nugget from him about a year ago. It basically was a condition waiver. So if you have a appraisal done, and in this example, it was a trip hazard. So there's a trip hazard on the property, and the appraisal required that it be repaired or fixed. And so instead of having that done, because we know the process of that, right? So that it is, you get it repaired, how many days does that take, right? And then once it is repaired, you have to have it re-inspected. How many days does that take? Plus $75, right? Then you get the re-inspection back, and how long does that take to get the underwriter to look at it, right? I mean, you can rush all this stuff too, but in general, you just don't know. It could be 8 days right there, right?
Easy.
So a simple letter to the RLC explaining, we have a format that you fill out in great detail. The veteran sends to the RLC that they're willing and able to fix it, or will have it fixed after. Then you get it waived. That condition is waived from the appraisal, and the underwriter signs off on it, and it eliminated that. So that little trick right there for us has made a huge difference, because you know what a lot of real estate agents say, right? Oh, the appraiser's going to come back bad, or it's going to have way more conditions.
I forgot to mention Tidewater and value reconsideration. You talk about the RLC. Have gotten several loans, got value raised for that too.
All those things. And then when it makes a huge, huge difference, right? When you're able to squash that without them knowing it and make it streamlined. And when it's streamlined, you had that great transaction, right? And that's what we want to want the agents to remember. So the next veteran that comes up with the offer, right? They're like more apt to look at that, especially with us.
And make some allies. Like, make some allies out there in the industry, whether it's people that are in vetted VA. There's another Facebook group called Vetted VA Professional, and I've gone on there. I was allowed on, suckers. But anyway, I was allowed on there, and it's such a helpful community, and that page alone has probably saved 3 or 4 loans for me that I wasn't sure how to work through, because I'm not an underwriting expert. Luckily I'm pretty, and my OnlyFans page is paying off right now, but I'm not the expert, so I like to lean on people that know more than me, and I surround myself with people that know more. So that's a really great one. Also on the AIME page, there's education tools on there for VA loans that are extremely helpful. And so we have a lot of resources, and so you can't say I didn't know that. You didn't take the time to educate yourself on that, and that's a huge gap. Saying I didn't know, or taking the time to look it up and educate yourself. So take that time. If you want to serve veterans, do it at 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. AIME Academy, you can go there, you can level up there. We'll talk about that more on our next panel too.
It's hand raised.
What's that?
Somebody has a hand raised.
Sure.
Quick question. And I haven't looked at the AIME website you're talking about, but let's say I started reading the handbook. What other venues that I decided recommend somebody who's starting?
For me, I would tell you to go to the AIME Academy and take that class. It's the entry level on all the guidelines, and in my opinion, it's one of the problems with a VA home loan. There is no certification. I don't believe you should be able to do a VA home loan unless you are certified specifically to do that. Not that I know of. I have no idea.
I'm not sure. But that AIME University site is fantastic.
Yep.
The presentation it gives you a lot of like real world situations instead of just reading guidelines to try and fall asleep, because that's what I do. But video, taking some notes, that's just how I learn. And it's extremely helpful. It gives you a lot of situational tools and stuff like that. So invest your time in that. It's not very much. It's well worth it.
It's like $250.
Yeah.
But find a mentor as well.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best thing I would tell you, is somebody that can come alongside you. And that way when you are going to be doing a VA home loan, you're not left, to just mess it up to learn. That's not what we want to happen. We want somebody alongside you to walk you through that experience and still give the veteran a good experience and teach you along the way. That's the best way I see it. You're welcome. Well, any other nuggets, gentlemen?
No, I think we covered it, and just being passionate about the broker channel, and like we are the best of the best, in my opinion. Like, go out there, tell your realtors. I know this is not a content block, but like, great content, share your knowledge. Like, veterans don't know, guys. Like, we are in it every day, and we just assume that they know it too. They don't. Like, share your knowledge, share it on social media, build your personal brand. YouTube, Instagram. Like, just put it out there what you know every day, and that's how you show up.
Yep.
100%. I can tell you for sure, veterans do not know their VA guidelines. I'm part of the CVSO in Wisconsin, and those guys have no idea on their guidelines. That's why they rely on us, because they just don't. Also, find your group of people. Even if you are a master of your craft, you don't know everything or you need to bounce something off of somebody else. Find your group of people that you can run things off of, get on a call quick and do that, right? That's what these guys are. There's so many good people out here. Find your group that'll help better serve our veterans.
100%. Yep.
Cool. All right, thanks guys.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, brother.